And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we do get into today's video, as always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. So of course the boys aren't back in action now until the end of the month due to the international break, but news around the club is still very much ongoing. There's a lot happening. Of course there's potential transfer links, stories from players around the club, stories from players out on loan, and all this type of stuff as well. But we've got a big story to discuss today, as you can tell by the title, a big U-turn. We'll go over that in just a second, of course, towards the end of the video. But of course, we mentioned yesterday how we have pre-season games announced for our USA tour. We've got the DC United game, we've got the Chelsea match and the Manchester City match. I think the majority of the Celtic fans are pretty happy with that itinerary for the mini USA tour. I'm not too sure if there'll be any more games in the US, or if we'll just come back home and play a few more games across Britain. We'll have to wait and see with regards to that, but I'm looking forward to it. It should be pretty exciting. I'm sure that will be announced towards the end of the season as well. But yeah, a lot of Celtic fans are pretty happy with that. I've seen a lot of Celtic fans online from the US as well that are very, very happy to see the club actually come out to the US and play as well, so they can get to watch them firsthand, which is cool to see, and it helps Celtic grow their brand as well, which is awesome to see. But I want to talk about a player that left the club in the last few weeks, Alexandru Bernabei, because I've seen the headline earlier today, and before I read into it, I thought the guy's got some cheek. Basically, the headline said something like Alexandru Bernabei couldn't wait to leave Celtic, as he targets Brazilian revival to show Rodgers what he's missing. Now, when I read that headline earlier today, it kind of painted the picture that the player was perhaps eager to turn his back on Celtic, perhaps with a chip on his shoulder, and was aimed at showing up the team's management, specifically Brendan Rodgers, in that sense. But when I read further into the article and the story itself, and Bernabei and what he actually said, he basically just expressed a lot of enthusiasm to return back to South American football, kind of highlighting the emotional pull of playing for Internacional and the desire to make an impact at the club. But of course, the way the headline was worded, you'd think he was slagging off Celtic, which wasn't the case. So this is what Bernabei had to say on his move back to his home continent. He said, "I really wanted to come back and feel what South American football is all about again. Wearing this Internacional shirt gives me a lot of emotion and adrenaline. Knowing what this club means makes me want to get going and make an impression here." He further detailed his playing style and commitment to contributing to international success, with no mention of Celtic or Brendan Rodgers in a negative light whatsoever. It was a little bit strange when I read the headline earlier and I read the story. It has no correlation whatsoever. I thought Bernabei was maybe slagging off Celtic when he left, but that's definitely not the case, and he seems pretty eager to get going under Internacional in South America and do a good job out there for sure. Best of luck to him as well. I would like to see him potentially have a future at the club. I don't see that being the case whatsoever, to be completely honest with you, but hopefully he can at least kick on and get back to his best in his home continent, I suppose, in South America as well. And maybe he may have a future at Celtic. Who knows? You never know what can happen in the future. But yeah, let's discuss the U-turn for today as well. It's a big story. So another player that's out on loan currently is Mikey Johnston. He's out on loan at West Bromwich Albion in the Championship. He's played 10 games so far in the Championship and scored 6 goals. In really good form. I think a lot of Celtic fans were shocked when they seen how good he's doing that down there. Of course, the pressure of playing at West Brom isn't that of playing at Celtic. It's not the same under the lights of being at Celtic Park. Of course, the pressure there is a lot higher. You can't get away with anything really in those games, and the standards are so high playing for Celtic. But nonetheless, a West Bromwich side that are fighting for playoff positions in the Championship, trying to get back to the Premier League, is still a high intensity environment to be in and a high intensity environment to play in, and he's doing really well. Now, a man that thinks he may still have a future at Celtic is John Hartson. Of course, a lot of Celtic fans were quite frustrated with Mikey Johnston because it wasn't really a case of him not getting a chance with the Hoops. It was more so his inconsistencies and never really getting a good run in the team because he couldn't perform on a consistent basis. But John Hartson believes there's a future for him, and Rodgers may consider making a U-turn and actually let him stay at the club long term if he continues his good form at West Brom. As far as I know now, and as far as the details in his loan deal explain, there's no buy option for West Brom, but of course his transfer market value will be going up higher and higher from for West Brom to buy him, and other teams in England as well, they do want to do so, given how good he's playing right now. Similar situation to that of Adam Idah, but of course this one benefits us if we were to sell him. So this is what John Hartson had to say with regards to Mikey Johnston. This is a really interesting one. When Brendan Rodgers said that he needs to move on a lot of the Celtic fans would have put Mikey Johnston in that because the performances for Celtic have not been at that level that Rodgers has been looking for. Now you go and send him to West Brom, and people are saying we should have kept him, given him chances, etc. But in all fairness, Celtic were not in a position to give lads opportunities. They have to go win games. So Brendan maybe needs to go with his more tried and tested and experience. I am glad for Mikey that he is doing so well. West Brom is a big club. They are going back for promotion back into the Premier League, and some of the goals he has scored have been fantastic. But remember, he is only on loan, so Celtic will see more of Mikey Johnston. It is just a case of the player himself when he comes back making a similar impact back at Celtic, where the pressure is multiplied a lot more. And not being disrespectful to the Championship, he has to perform every single week at Celtic. There is no hiding place. So when he comes back, eventually it's going to be down to him to put those type of performances shown at West Brom. Sometimes maybe a player needs to go out on loan to discover himself again and put in some real good performances. He's responded exactly how Brendan Rodgers will have wanted him to do so. Keep going, be positive, and go do well at your loan club. Your stock is then a bit higher, and one or two other clubs may be interested, but Celtic hold the player. He's a Celtic player, there is no doubt he will come back, and there's no doubt he will have another opportunity at Celtic. So I kind of want to ask you guys a question. Do you see a way back for Mikey Johnston at Celtic? Do you think he can be a regular for us? I do agree with what Hartson said there. There was no real chance to give players opportunities because we were trying to get results and we were struggling in certain games. And you can't really put a player on that's not proven, I suppose. He still had a few games here and there. But yeah, never really a good run in the team this season whatsoever. But he's had opportunities over the years as well. He's been at Celtic his whole career as well. So he's definitely had opportunities before. But given how good he's doing at West Brom, do you guys see a way back for him at Celtic to be a regular for us in the future? I suppose it's still early days, of course. I mean, he's only played 10 games. You never know, he could drop off now. He could even get even better and score a lot more goals. You don't know yet. But as things stand right now, I think it's not a big deal to maybe bring him back and evaluate him from there and see if there could be an opportunity for him to come back into the Celtic team. Of course, he's a childhood Celtic fan. It's his club that he loves. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to play for us week in, week out for sure. But yeah, let me know your thoughts with regards to that story of John Hartson's thoughts there as well. Do you think there's a way back for Mikey Johnston, yes or no? Also, let us know what you make of Bernabei going out on loan to Internacional as well, and of course our USA pre-season tour that's been announced as well. Are you excited to see those games? Let us know down in the comment section below. That does bring us, of course, to the end of today's video. As always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.